A narcissist never respected you, not one single time. What they gave you at the very beginning was not admiration, it was a strategy. Their so-called respect was never real. It was a setup designed to make you trust them so they could take more from you. Psychological research tells us that when the ego is weak and unstable, the mind builds masks to survive. That early respect they showed you was one of those masks. It was an illusion carefully crafted to keep you cooperative while they fed on your emotional energy. But here is a truth that almost no one tells you. There is only one shift that forces a narcissist to respect you. Not love, not forgiveness, not understanding, not even confrontation. So what is that one thing? The answer starts with seeing clearly what they never actually gave you in the first place. The absence of respect did not begin during the painful phase when they started tearing you down. It started in the dream. It started in that very first magical moment that pulled you in before you even knew danger had a name. To truly understand what happened to you, you have to see the love bombing for exactly what it was. It was not romance. It was a psychological transaction dressed up as romance. When they first walked into your life, it probably felt like a tornado of excitement. They moved incredibly fast. They made big promises. They mirrored your values and your interests so perfectly that it felt unreal. You thought to yourself, finally, I have met someone who respects me enough to actually put me first. But let us look at this more honestly. In healthy human connection, we relate to others as complete, whole people. We understand that the other person is their own universe. They have their own history, their own contradictions, their own rights, and their own flaws. Genuine respect is the recognition of that wholeness. It means understanding that you cannot simply shape another person to match your own needs at any given moment. A narcissist does not relate to you as a whole person. In their mind, you are not a separate human being. You are a function, you are a tool. Think about the relationship you have with your car. You might say you love your car. You might wash it every weekend, take pictures of it, and show it off to your friends. But do you actually respect your car? Do you ask your car for permission before you drive it? Do you stop to wonder if your car is tired? No. You value the car for what it does for you. It gives you status. It takes you from one place to another. This is exactly how the narcissist saw you during that golden beginning period. They admired your usefulness. I know this realization hits hard. When you finally see that their admiration had nothing to do with who you truly are, it can feel like the ground is collapsing under your feet. Breathe through it. Your new clarity will steady you faster than you expect. They saw your beauty, your social standing, your empathy, or your resources, and they wanted to attach all of those things to themselves. They were not falling in love with you. They were acquiring an asset. The intense focus you felt from them was not the gaze of someone in love. It was the calculating eye of a collector examining a new piece. This explains why they were able to act with such frightening ease. Real respect is a slow and careful process. It takes time to build trust. It takes time to understand the depth of another human being. But using someone is fast. They did not need to know your soul to know that you made them look impressive. They did not need to respect your boundaries to know that you were an excellent source of emotional support. They completely bypassed genuine human connection and went straight to a purely functional one. Think back to the early days of your relationship. Picture yourself at a dinner party with their friends or colleagues. The narcissist has their arm around you. They are telling a story to everyone at the table about something wonderful you did. Maybe a project you completed or a talent you have. They are glowing. You feel incredibly special in that moment. You think to yourself, wow, they are so proud of me. But replay that scene again and look more closely this time. Look at their eyes. They are not looking at you with genuine warmth. They are scanning the faces of the other people at the table. They are checking to see whether those people are impressed. They are using your achievement to lift their own status. Their behavior says, look at me. I am important enough to have a partner this remarkable. You are a shiny prop they are using to perform their own one-person play. Then something small happens in the middle of that dinner. You gently correct a detail of their story, or you accidentally spill a drink on their sleeve. Watch how instantly the respect vanishes. The smile falls. A flash of cold anger appears in their eyes. They might grip your arm a little too tightly or make a cutting, embarrassing joke at your expense. Why? Because the prop stopped working. The moment you stopped making them look good, even for 1 second, you lost your value to them. That instant switch proves beyond any doubt that the respect they showed was never for you. It was for your performance. This leads us to the most chilling part of their disrespect, which is the complete absence of guilt. You have probably spent hours trying to explain to them how deeply their actions hurt you. You believed that if they just understood the pain they caused, they would stop. You assumed they were working with the same moral system as you, but deep psychology warns us that when the mask completely takes over the personality, there is no room left for a real conscience. You do not feel guilty when you throw away a pen that has run out of ink. You simply find a new one. Because the narcissist sees you as a source of supply rather than a human being, they feel no true remorse when they lie to you, cheat on you, or manipulate you. To them, these are simply necessary moves to get what they need. They might fake an apology if they sense you are about to leave, but they do not feel the internal pain of genuine guilt. This realization is devastating, but it is also your very first step toward freedom. You have been trying to appeal to a humanity that is simply not accessible. You have been trying to win back a respect that was never actually given in the first place. You cannot lose what you never had. You were hired to play a role, and now they are furious that you want to be a real person instead of an actor. Once you see that their respect was always just a mask, the spell breaks, and you gain the clarity to never fall for it again. But if the beginning was just a performance of respect, what exactly is the trigger that turns that performance into the nightmare of being torn apart? The shift from the worship phase to the tearing down phase is often the most traumatic experience a person can go through. It creates a state of mental confusion that can last for years. You wake up one morning and the person who once treated you like royalty is now treating you like a burden. If your chest tightens as you hear this, that is completely normal. Your body still remembers the moments your world shifted without any warning. And it is finally safe enough to acknowledge what those moments felt like. It seems to happen suddenly. It feels deeply personal. You might have simply asked a simple question or expressed a small need, and the entire atmosphere in the room drops. The warmth is instantly replaced by a cold, calculating irritation. Naturally, you start looking for the cause inside your own behavior. You think, maybe I was too needy, maybe I should not have asked for that, maybe I am just not interesting enough anymore. But the cause is not inside your actions. The cause lies in the unavoidable cycle of their psychological makeup. Research in psychology identifies a principle that any extreme psychological state will eventually turn into its opposite. The narcissist's early worship of you was an extreme and completely unrealistic fantasy, and because there is a kind of gravity in the human mind, just as there is in the physical world, that fantasy was always destined to come crashing down. When the narcissist first met you, they placed all their hope for perfection onto you. They saw in you all the power, wholeness, and greatness they desperately wished they possessed. They did not see a human being. They saw a savior. They saw someone who would finally fill the hollow emptiness inside them. But this kind of projection sets you up to fail from the very beginning. Being placed on a pedestal is an inhuman thing. When you are on a pedestal, you are not allowed to move. You are not allowed to change. You are not allowed to be human. And then reality slowly creeps in. You have a bad day, you come down with the flu, you have a moment of insecurity, you forget to do something they asked. In a healthy relationship, these things are simply normal parts of sharing a life with someone. To the narcissist, these things are betrayals. The moment you show your humanity, you destroy their perfect image of you. You stop being the idealized figure who provides endless support and become the disappointing reality they never wanted to face. Here is exactly how it plays out. You have a crisis at work, you are stressed and maybe even crying. You come home looking for comfort. In the beginning, they would have held you close for hours, but now they look at you with visible disgust. They roll their eyes. They might say you are always so dramatic, or they say, I had a hard day too. Why does it always have to be about you? Why do they react this way? Because your pain is inconvenient to them. It reminds them that you are a separate person with your own needs that require their energy. They do not want to give energy. They want to take it. Your pain breaks the illusion that you exist only to serve them. So in that moment, they have to tear you down to protect themselves from the uncomfortable reality of your humanity. They have to convince themselves that you are the weak one. You are the broken one. This way, they do not have to feel the shame of their own inability to care about someone else. This tearing down process serves a very specific purpose for their ego. They operate on a completely binary system. You are either above or below. There is no such thing as equal in their world. For them to feel superior, someone else must be inferior. When they feel their own internal shame or insecurity, which they feel constantly, they cannot process it, so they push it outward, they dump it onto you. When they look at you with that sneering contempt, they are not actually seeing you. They are looking at their own self-loathing reflected back. When they call you stupid, they are really fighting their own deep fear of being incompetent. When they call you selfish, they are pushing out their own pathological self-obsession. They treat you like you are worthless because deep down in their hidden inner world, they feel worthless. You become the container they dump their toxic waste into. This is why every attempt you make to fix the relationship during this phase will always fail. You try to be perfect. You try to guess their needs before they even ask. You walk on eggshells and suppress your own personality to avoid setting them off. But the more you try to please them, the more they look down on you. Why? Because your constant giving proves to them that you are weak. In their mind, power is everything. If you are willing to keep submitting to someone who mistreats you, then in their eyes you must be of low value. It is a brutal paradox. They demand your submission, but the moment you give it, they lose all respect for you. Your kindness annoys them because it highlights their own cruelty. Your patience frustrates them because it exposes their own lack of self-control. There is no winning this game because the game is built against reality itself. You are fighting a ghost. You are fighting the internal image they have constructed of you, which has flipped from all good to all bad. You cannot reason with a projection. This confirms the central truth we must accept. You cannot earn respect through effort, through kindness, or through striving for perfection. The cause of their disrespect is not your behavior. It is their own deep psychological problem. You could be the most perfect partner who has ever existed, and they would still eventually tear you down because their inner world demands it. They need a target to manage their own internal pressure, and you are the most convenient one available. Every argument with a narcissist is not really a disagreement. It is their ego switching on its most basic defense systems. Slow it down for a moment and step into the middle of one of those arguments you know so well. You are standing there with your heart pounding, trying to explain basic, obvious facts. You have evidence, you have text messages, you have proof. You are speaking as calmly as you can, trying to be rational, but they are looking at you with a blank, glazed expression, or perhaps a small smirk that makes your blood boil. You feel like you are screaming into empty air. You think, maybe if I just find the right words, they will finally understand. But something much more disturbing is happening in that moment. You are not arguing with a rational adult. You are threatening a fragile and ancient psychological structure. You are not weak for getting stuck in these endless loops. Even the most intelligent and grounded people get drowned in conversations that are specifically designed to confuse them. The moment you recognize the pattern, you have already reclaimed more of your power than you realize. We often mistake the narcissist's arrogance for strong self-esteem. We see their boasting, their sense of entitlement, and we assume they must love themselves deeply, but psychology teaches us that an internal wound is very often masked by its opposite. The narcissist's display of superiority is an enormous defense system built to hide a crushing sense of worthlessness underneath. Their ego is not powerful. It is extremely brittle. It is like a balloon that is constantly leaking air. They require your constant attention, praise, and submission to keep it inflated. This is precisely why they cannot tolerate equality. To truly respect you, they would have to see you as their equal. But in their world, if you are equal, then they are no longer superior. And if they are not superior, they face the terrifying inner emptiness of their own worthlessness. This is why they cannot let you win an argument. Even a small admission of being wrong feels like total psychological collapse to them. Watch what this looks like in real life. You catch them in a direct, clear lie. Maybe they said they were at work, but you saw them somewhere else. You confront them with the proof. A secure, respectful person would feel ashamed and apologize. They would say, "I messed up, and I am truly sorry." But watch what the narcissist does instead. They explode. They flip the script instantly. They might say, "You are crazy. You are stalking me. You are so controlling. This is why I can never be honest with you." Notice exactly what just happened. They shifted the focus from their action, the lie, to your reaction, your character. They cannot carry the weight of the reality that says, "I am a liar." That reality is too crushing for their fragile inner world. So they must build a new reality, one where you are the villain. This is called gaslighting, but it is more than just a manipulation trick. It is a survival reflex for their ego. They absolutely must make you appear to be the unstable one so that they can remain the sane and reasonable one. They behave like the eternal child, the part of a person that wants all the freedoms of an adult but reacts with the emotional maturity of a small child. They want to do whatever they want, whenever they want, with zero consequences. When you try to hold them accountable, you become the bad authority figure in their mind. They push back against you not because you are wrong, but because you represent the reality and the limits they are desperately trying to escape. Because their ego depends on this hierarchy, you cannot make them respect you from a position of submission. Many people who have been hurt fall into the trap of trying to keep the peace. You think, if I just apologize for this fight, even though I did nothing wrong, we can go back to being happy. You swallow your own truth to avoid conflict. But here is the tragedy. Every single time you back down, you are not purchasing their respect. You are selling your own. Every time you apologize for something you did not do, you confirm their belief that they are above you and you are below them. You validate their delusion. You are teaching them that their defense system works on you. You are handing them the building blocks to make their walls even higher. The narcissist quietly despises people who are flexible enough to be manipulated by them. It is a twisted and cruel dynamic. They demand your submission, but the moment you give it, they look at you with contempt. They see your compliance as proof that you are essentially a tool to be used, and nobody respects a tool. So the mechanism of their ego guarantees that as long as you are trying to calm them, fix them, or simply endure them, you will remain in a permanent state of their disrespect. You are feeding the very monster that is consuming you. This brings us to a crossroads. If you cannot change their thinking and you cannot win their respect through giving in, what is left? You have to shift the entire source of power. You have to stop looking at their darkness and start looking at your own light. The exhaustion you feel right now is not weakness. It is the doorway to self-respect. Picture yourself completely wiped out and drained of all energy. You have tried explaining, crying, begging, shouting, and complete silence. Nothing has worked. You feel entirely powerless, as if your voice produces no sound and your presence carries no weight. But this exact moment of total exhaustion is actually a gateway. It is the precise point where you stop looking outward for someone to validate you and start looking inward for your own survival. Self-respect in this situation means something far more radical than most people realize. It is not about standing in front of a mirror and repeating positive phrases to yourself. It is not about convincing yourself that you feel confident. In the reality of a toxic relationship, Self-respect is a sharp and deliberate psychological act of liberation from what researchers call identity fusion, which is a state where you become so deeply entangled with another person that you completely lose your own sense of self. You begin to feel their anger as your own fear. You feel their disapproval as your own shame. You are living inside their version of